Gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang channel. Thanks for joining me once again. Today, I am going to share my review of Intermediary Mund from Exalted Funeral. This is written and illustrated by Benjamin Marr, and the 64-page softcover zine with PDF carries an MSRP of $20, or you can grab just the PDF alone for $12. All that said, let's swing it over to the other camera because here I've got Intermediary Mund. A few things to mention before we jump on in. First of all, my friends over at Exalted Funeral were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this review with you. These days, it's important you know that. We're also not going to take a look at each and every page of the zine, but I do want to give you a good feel for what you're going to find inside. Then lastly, while this isn't an adventure per se, it does have encounters, it does have set pieces in it. So if you're a player and your game master has picked this up, or maybe they're thinking about picking this up, I would certainly recommend tune out now. I'm going to stay away from spoilers for the most part. But just as we flip through, you're going to see some things which would certainly ruin some of the surprises of these encounters and set pieces. So once again, as a player, I would recommend tune out. But if your game master is thinking about picking this up, let them know about this review so that way they can approach Intermediary Mund and make a far more informed buying decision. All right, let's jump on in. First thing we're going to do is take a peek at the credits page. We'll give credit where credit is due. Should also mention that this is statted for Old School Essentials and Dungeon Crawl Classics. These encounters are from the author's, I want to say, Dungeon Crawl Classics campaign, if I remember correctly. And of course, OSE and DCC operate very differently. So if you are using this for Dungeon Crawl Classics, you might have a little bit of hand waving to be done because the stat blocks are more aimed at Old School Essentials. So as I pointed out, this is really not an adventure. This isn't a hex crawl. This is just a bunch of different NPCs and set pieces and encounters. They're really bizarre. I mean, a lot of this is kind of WTF for the sake of being WTF. It's not going to get down into the muck like some of the Lamentations of the Flame Princess adventures may. But still, this is going to be for a particular crowd. And I will point out, I'm not part of the crowd. I'm not fond of this whatsoever. For one, it's just a bunch of kind of random stuff that's presented. Now, there seems to be kind of an ongoing narrative that's sort of taking place in this, but the game master is just sort of left to their own devices as far as how this is presented. Now, this is supposed to kind of take place in and around this village. I don't know. I mean, I gotta be honest. This is probably the weirdest product I have ever looked to review for a tabletop role-playing game, simply because I don't really know who it's aimed at. I'll tell you one thing. I would have thought that this would have been more along the lines of something for Mirkborg, Morkborg, as opposed to Dungeon Crawl Classics or Old School Essentials. Now, I have friends who always talk about how just completely bizarre the products from Exalted Funeral are. And I tend to say, well, come on, not all of it. They are the American home of Old School Essentials and the Old School Essentials adventures. I mean, there's a lot of OSR stuff over at Exalted Funeral. There's a lot of traditionally styled role-playing supplements and adventures and things like that. And then there's some oddball shit. So, Which, what's good? If you enjoy this kind of stuff, that's great. That's fine. This just isn't for me. And one reason is because it's not presented in any, in my opinion, usable fashion. It's sort of like, okay, so this is kind of weird. This is kind of bizarre. This isn't presented as, oh, hey, this is a bestiary that you can use with old school essentials or dungeon crawl classics. It's just simply, okay, this is some really weird shit that the author happened to have in their own Dungeon Crawl Classics campaign. That's it. So, once again, just not a fan. I mean, there are some interesting entries here. And then there's other things where it's just sort of gross out for the sake of being gross out. WTF for being, yeah, just to be WTF. That's essentially how this works. Production quality, this is a nice zine. This will hold up really nicely. We're sort of used to that now from Exalted Funeral. Paper stock, nice and thick. The cover, nice and thick. So this won't just fall apart after using this at your game table for, a week or two of sessions. But all in all, this just isn't my bag of tricks. I don't want to be too harsh as far as Intermediary Mund goes. It's just not aimed at me. I'm not its core audience. Once again, I got to be honest, I'm not sure who the core audience might be. Probably more people playing Mirkberg than playing Dungeon Crawl Classics or Old School Essentials. All right, let's swing on over to the other camera. I'm going to share some final thoughts, little bit, and my review score. So as you can tell, not a fan. Just not a fan. It's just kind of bizarre and just isn't my bag of tricks. Like I said, production quality's cool. I mean, there are some interesting NPCs and creatures and so forth in it, but as far as like a usable role-playing game product, it's trying to present a sort of narrative, but it's all over the place. Like I said, it just seems to be a bunch of set pieces, encounters, and creatures and NPCs that the author has unleashed on the players in their campaign. And that's it. That's pretty much it. So, on a scale of 0 to 10, I give Intermediary Mund a 4.5 out of 10. Just not my thing. I mean, some people I guarantee are going to dig it. All right, that's it for this time out. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell. It will not only let you know when I share videos such as this review, it'll also inform you when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit gaminggang.com for all the latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you are not going to find here on YouTube. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thank you very much for watching. And until I see you next time, I certainly hope all of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.